What's
Hey,
good,
what's
Jay?
up, man? What's going on, man?
Not much.
I don't see Bud in here yet.
April
Yeah,
Fools.
I texted her to see when he's coming to.
Hold on 1 second.
Jesus Christ, man.
All right, I was trying to do the YouTube thing again. I used my other laptop this time. It looked like it's working.
Okay.
I think so. I might have to turn down the volume on it.
Tell that train to stop running too.
Yeah, man, this shit loud as
Well,
hell.
I'm driving to my tropical rainforest location where you guys will be hearing birds in the background in no time. So I'm in the car. I'm in the car in the meantime. So you hear me cursing. It's just a little bit of road rage.
Did that tornado
It
hit
did a
you?
little bit last night. Yeah, there's actually I went to 3 stores this morning and all of them had power issues.
Yeah, 'cause I saw it was in Clifton. I know that ain't too far from
Yeah,
here.
you know, I thought a week where they fucking indicted Trump would be like more enjoyable than like what the past few days have been for me. It's like they wasted all the energy on that dude. It's just been a weird past few days.
All right, I just checked the YouTube, and yes, it's working. It's working
All right,
fine.
good.
All right, so we can get started.
Yeah.
We can get started. All y'all in here for to hear Terrence Crawford. That was April Fools. That was a joke.
But you get us instead.
We
So
was joking.
you get the upgrade. I said, but you get us instead, so you get the upgrade.
Yeah.
When you got Jacob.
Exactly. So what's going on this week in boxing?
Yeah, man, it's been pretty busy. So look, you mentioned Bud, but we could start there, I guess. Calvin Watkins, top-notch reporter from the Dallas area. I identify like anything boxing related, really anything sports related in the Dallas area. Calvin Watkins is my go-to. So he had the latest update on Spencer Crawford. He said that contracts are now being exchanged. So obviously that's still a negotiation period. Didn't seem to be much reaction to it. I don't know if it's fatigue. I just don't know if people aren't familiar enough with Calvin Watkins, or like I said, everyone's just kind of taking a wait and see approach. But you know, it seems like we're right back to where we were, I guess, last summer, maybe even into last September. So we'll see. One thing that Calvin did report that I liked, he claimed that there is actually a contingency plan in place, that if they don't get this done, that Keith Thurman is still the option for Errol Spence next. So that's, while I don't know if there's an official deadline, there is something in the sense that Errol Spence will be fighting in June, whether it's Terrence Crawford or Keith Thurman, if his report is to be 100% true. And I've never known him to be wrong. So
he's a very credible guy.
Absolutely. So I know people like, oh, is this guy? I'm like, you just don't pay attention. I'm pretty sure he handles just about everything for ESPN out of the Dallas area. So not just boxing. He's done basketball. Like he's my go-to on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think people's reaction to it is just, shit's fatigue.
Yeah, exactly.
Fatigue, as well as other big fights, that we have on tap, that are actually happening.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm kind of there too. Like I said, I was checked when it fell apart last year. I was just like, you know what, I'm done with it. If they get back to it, whatever, it's not something I need in my life. I don't know. Maybe that's shitty of me to say as a boxing reporter. I couldn't care less if they find it out, because it still holds up the rest of the welterweight division. I mean, it's closure, I guess, to a degree, but especially if Errol wins, there's almost no chance of him fighting any of the mandatories. So even if we get undisputed, the titles are very likely going to be broken up immediately thereafter. So I'm still at who cares status. I don't think it's a bigger fight than Tank and Ryan Garcia. I'm still far more intrigued by Stephen Fulton and Naoya Inoue. It's just, it's like unfinished business to me. But beyond that, I really don't care.
Yeah, well, we also got Virgil Ortiz
and
Stanley
that
Otis,
was a massive letdown.
ended up. What happened with that?
Yeah, so I heard rumblings about it. I hit up, Ortiz's team, reps at Golden Boy, and the only thing I was told was yeah, it's another flare up. I'm like, ugh, that can mean a lot of things. I figured it meant that it was similar to why he had to withdraw from the fight with Michael McKinson last year. Well, that was too windy outside. So it did turn out it's the same exact thing. I just don't know if there's something going on with the system. There's been the theory that he just doesn't belong at welterweight. I want to see this fight through, but if it's going to risk his health, I don't know if it's just time for him to move up to 154. But those are questions that only Virgil can answer. But my understanding is they're going to try to reschedule it for July. I know they were working on Stanionis. They wanted to see if he wanted another fight in the meantime. They were even working on trying to get another main event. I don't know if it's going to happen, but one option, if they're going to keep the April 29th date, is maybe even getting William Zepeda to move off the Tank Ryan Garcia card and headline that show.
No.
Although if the opponent is still
they could just give me my refund.
I was going to say if the opponent is still Jaime Arboleda, then that's not a main event I really need to see. That is not a sufficient replacement to Stanionis Ortiz. And also, there's also the possibility that the fight doesn't even take place in Dallas if they still go through with the date. There are anytime you have to cancel a main event, the biggest hassle on the promotional end is issuing refunds. So that's why these venues are always so hesitant to say this event is canceled. They use words like whatever, postponed, we're looking into it, it's going to be rescheduled. It's all excuses to not issue people immediate refunds. So once that announcement comes, I think that alleviates some concerns with fans. It sucks, man. Like you said, that was a massive fight week that we were all looking forward to.
Well, the one thing about California, they don't care. You got to give them their money back either way. Excuse me. In California, you have to give them a refund if the main event doesn't go
right. Through. So yeah, that was just that was a very big letdown when we got that news this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that's come up a lot on this. So Haney and Lomachenko, obviously we knew the fight was happening. Top Rank finally announced that they had the press conference, and Bill Haney put it out there. This is Team Haney's last fight with Top Rank and DeBella under their current agreement. So we did get confirmation that it was a 3-fight deal. It was 2 fights with Kambosos, and then a 3rd fight. My understanding, Bill and Devin, they like working with Top Rank. I can see them continuing with Top Rank. I could equally see them possibly looking into going back to Matchroom. Look, Devin with the win, he basically named his own price after this. So. Whoever he's with after this fight, I'm all for it. But I was just glad to hear that, on record. We now know Devin Haney's promotion situation.
Yeah, Loma by referee stoppage. You're gonna land 2 punches, the rest gonna step in.
Well, I got maybe we'll get that word to Kenny Bayless then to let him know which one they want to win.
2 deductions from Devin for holding.
2 deductions
in the first round. ESPN gonna put up that Devin Holding graphic.
Yeah, of course.
They're gonna be all in.
Yeah,
man. They're gonna be all in.
I can't lie. Look, I mean, there's definitely an affinity for Lomachenko. So when Bill put that out there, I was like, oh, here we go. Now we're gonna hear, we're gonna get those same rumors. They're gonna want to see Devin get knocked out. All the problems about him that they're all gonna come out if he doesn't resign with them. But like I said, I expect this to be a very, very big night for Devin Haney. And then, like I said, I think he's gonna be. If he doesn't sign with Top Rank, he will be the most sought after free agent in the sport.
Okay. Speaking of Vegas fights and numbers, do you have the pay-per-view numbers for Benavidez?
All right.
Plant.
What I was told. I saw the numbers out there. I don't know why. I forget the Wrestling Observer News, whatever. I don't know why they keep reporting. Every time they report something, they always say, well, this is the linear figure. They admit that they don't have access to the digital figures. So then why even put a number out there if all you're doing is guessing the final result? So, and all it does is lead people, like all these idiots who wanted to see that event fail, now they're getting to say, oh, well, this event failed and only did 50,000 pay-per-views. That is complete bullshit. So my understanding, what I was told, is that it won't touch 200. Better than, I think 150 was like a loose figure out there. I want to say it's like between 175 and I'm going to say 199 because they said it won't touch 200. So it's probably going to be around 175 to 180,000 pay-per-view buys. Somebody say something.
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. So you said about 175 to
I'm gonna
199
get
total.
So I think probably around 180 sounds like a decent figure. I did some very loose math on this. So after like even with the low linear buys and the way I understand the market as it is, like back in the day it was like, okay, well, if you invested $10 million in a fight, you know it has to sell $20 million worth of pay-per-views to get your money back. It doesn't work that way anymore. So it's actually beneficial for the linear part to be low because the digital side, you actually, the fighters make more money from that. So my very loose math after whatever deductions you pay for distribution fees, Showtime gets their cut or whatever. There's probably more than $10 million in pay-per-view revenue to be split up. The gate did somewhere, I think around 4 million, maybe a little shy of that. So all the expenses are paid. Basically, David Benavidez and Caleb Plant walked away with very nice paydays from this event.
Okay.
So that is,
that's
great news. They both took a risk. The industry, responded, and they both got paid very well for it. So obviously, David Benavidez is in a great place right now. He's the leading candidate for Canelo. I know. I went on Twitter and said this too when I saw this reaction. Like, okay, now we're going to look into Benavidez and David Morrell, fighting to create the super mandatory. Look, I'm all for whatever. If Benavidez wants to go fight David Morrell next, God bless him. I'll stand tall with him. But the reaction to that event and to that win, the hottest fight in the super middleweight division, without question, is Canelo and David Benavidez. And if you can make that fight next, I don't need the sanctioning bodies making excuses for why that fight can't happen. They shouldn't. Canelo he spent all of 2022 avoiding all his mandatories. He said he was going to fight Bivol at 175. Fine. He was already signed to fight Triple G for his third fight. Look, not a lot of people, only the old heads really asked for that one. Nobody really cared about that fight. But whatever, he signed for it. 2022 is done. Now is the time to clear out all these mandatories and waiting. So he's fighting John Ryder because the WBO ordered that fight. So now it's up to the WBA, the WBC, and the IBF to follow suit. They shouldn't be making excuses for why Canelo can't fight these guys. And it's not like David Benavidez. You can't argue anymore that he hasn't earned the right to be his mandatory. That argument completely ended March 25th.
Okay, what about well, you already know they're not gonna order no mandatory for Canelo, so I'm not that silly. And to be honest with you, I doubt if David would even take it as a mandatory. He wanna get some more of that back end money.
Exactly.
If Canelo isn't in the plans next for David, what do you see next for David?
Just whoever PBC wants to line up for him. So the same names keep popping up: Charlo, Morrell, Demetrius Andrade. I do suspect that if he doesn't get Canelo next, he's going to fight one of those three guys. I love his mentality. He's to the point where he's not convinced anymore that he kind of lost faith. I'm sorry, he lost faith that Canelo will ever fight him. And he said, you know what? If I got to be the guy to run the tables, good. That's the absolute right approach to take. So I do believe it's going to be one of those three guys next. He's the guy who turned down a Stay Busy fight because he said he wanted the most significant fight possible. He had the opportunity to fight Uzcategui whenever, January, December, whenever it was supposed to be. He said, no, I want, if the fight with Caleb Plant is available, that's the fight I want next. So he sacrificed, a couple more months of activity to get in there and take the fight with Caleb Plant. So that's his mentality moving forward. He wants to be the guy that's going to clean out the division if Canelo isn't willing to do it.
Okay, I agree. Yeah. I agree. What you say? 175 to 199 or whatever. That's not too bad. It's more than what Triple G did prior to his Canelo fights.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Any fight outside of
Okay.
I think even when
if you trend the numbers, you can see it probably end up around the same way the first Triple G fight. Who had never fought in Vegas outside of Canelo prior to this, so you really didn't have his Vegas number. And what you say, $4 million gate at Vegas?
Look,
Vegas?
We're talking about the pay-per-view numbers. We're talking about the gate and the event itself. It's like usually when they have a pay-per-view, they'll replay the main event. If an undercard fight is that exciting, they'll replay it. They're replaying the entire undercard. I had like UFC fans saying, "Oh my God, this is the best boxing event I've watched in a long time." There's been I haven't heard any negative reaction to last week's show other than Kenny Bayless.
Yeah. Well, all right. So today's big fight this afternoon, Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin. Joshua coming in at a career high, Franklin coming in like 30 pounds lighter than he did against White.
Yeah, so with Franklin, to me, it's just a sign that he actually trained for this one because he looked very dumpy in his last fight. I mean, look, I know boxers always argue I'm in boxing shape. I don't need to be in bodybuilder shape. But he actually looked like he trained. You know, he had plenty of time to train for this fight. He looks like he's in much better shape than he was against Dylan White. Granted, he gave a great account of himself. I don't know if he gave himself the best chance to win against White, but, you know, there was the argument that maybe he could have won the fight. I thought the decision was, you know, I didn't really have a problem with it, but it was a type of fight where you wanted to see Jermaine Franklin fight again, which hadn't been the case to that point. So this fight, he actually looks like he's taking it seriously. He's given himself the best chance to win. I don't put a lot of stock into Joshua, you know, being heavy. He's only like a pound, maybe 2 pounds heavier than his previous career high. So, but he's in great hands with Derek James. So I trust that he did all the right things in camp. He looked perfectly fine to me at the scale. So, but you know, we're gonna see him in those first 6 rounds. I mean, if he goes for an early knockout and you know it's not there, we're gonna see, you know, if the stamina is there in the second half of the fight. But he's usually not the type that comes, you know, racing out the gate. He'll probably take like a round or two, see what's up with Franklin, and then kind of get going from there. I do expect him to try to get rid of Franklin somewhere inside of 8-9 rounds. So I am a little bit curious to see what happens if the fight goes some rounds. But I just don't. I don't know. I'm not in that camp that Anthony Joshua's completely done.
So with a Joshua victory, where does he go from here? Does he fight Fury in summer?
They keep teasing that. To me, Fury is just such a wild card. I don't, you know, it's almost like negotiating with Terrence Crawford. It's like you don't know what's going to come out of it. You know, you feel like you're going in good faith, and then you just don't know, you know, where it's going to end. So if Joshua wants to keep the line moving, I could see maybe another fight on this level. I mean, obviously it's going to become expensive if they want to keep him active, but I don't know. For some reason, I'm never losing faith that we're going to get a Joshua Deontay Wilder fight at some point. I'm not saying it's going to be next. I feel more confident that we're going to see that fight before we ever see Joshua Fury.
Well, I think if Wilder could somehow find his way to get his hand on those 3 belts, it'd be a lot easier to make that fight. It'd be a lot more enticing to make that fight for AJ Wilder. So, what are you hearing about Wilder versus Usyk? Any legs to that rumor?
Like I said, I mentioned this last week. The only people I'm hearing it are people external to Usyk's camp and external to Daniel Dubois' camp. I have yet to hear Usyk say that he absolutely wants to fight Deontay Wilder next, that they're going to pay Dubois any type of step-aside fee. I also haven't heard yet that Dubois is completely cleared to fight Usyk next. I do know that Frank Warren is taking a proactive approach to negotiate with Usyk, but my understanding is the WBA, they have the medicals from Dubois, and they need the final stamp of approval from British Boxing Board of Control. That could have taken place yesterday, and I just missed it, but the last update I got from Thursday was that was still in place. They were waiting to hear back from the BBBC. And then once, you know, they verified those the medical documents, then Dubois would be cleared to next fight Usyk in the title consolidation bout.
Okay, my fault. I was changing the title up there.
Okay.
I see KB. KB just texted me, said he got Al Heyman next to him. He gonna handle the phone. Right. So I'm just waiting for him to request the speakers.
I'll step down if you want.
Speakers. But I'll say next. This fight tonight, Robeisy Ramirez versus Isaac.
Yeah, I keep doing the same thing.
We got a couple of people there in the house. Gritty, Trill, boxing, and barbecue.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like that's always a location I kind of been intrigued by. I don't know if it's like a boxing spot that you have to go to, but for some reason, like every time I see that a show is scheduled there, it's like I'm just waiting for that like one card. Like okay, this I got to make that trip to Tulsa. But it's kind of like a bucket list item. I was flirting with the idea of going this weekend. I just couldn't make it happen because I'm already going to San Antonio next weekend. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be a huge breakout party for Robeisy Ramirez. I feel like there's people in the industry that still hold him to his pro debut loss. The strides he's made since then, that's only been less than 4 years. So not only has he avenged that loss, but now he's positioned himself to be where if he wins tonight, he's, in my opinion, the top 5 featherweight. That says a lot for where he was, less than 4 years ago. just turning pro. So I think he has the right opponent. Dog Bay is going to come to fight. I'm just not convinced he can make that much noise at featherweight. I think he's kind of on the same level of Joet Gonzalez, who's in this co-feature, and they actually fought each other. I thought that was a fitting fight to get to this point for both of them when they faced each other last year. As far as featherweight goes, I think in my opinion, that's Dog Bay's ceiling. I thought his best time was at 122. That ended with Navarrete. He came in very light yesterday. I'm not saying he can make 122. I don't even think he can believe he can make 122. But I know since he's moved up to featherweight, he's been working with perfecting athletes. They've changed like his whole nutrition schedule. So he says he just feels a lot healthier. He hasn't skipped like a single meal during training camp. And he weighed, I think it was either 124.6 or 124.8 yesterday. So he's, remarkably light at this weight. But I just feel like there's a certain ceiling to, what he can do at featherweight. And I feel like we saw it in his last fight when he barely beat Joet Gonzalez last summer.
Yeah, who's also on the undercard. Yep. If anybody didn't get a chance, you can check out the Check and Talk betting show on YouTube, where with Adam Abramovich.
Yeah, it was a good show yesterday.
Gave his prediction for that fight. That was one of the sleeper fights he had. Also with the Jahai Tucker fight, his opponent was a sleeper pick, a possible sleeper pick. Yeah, Trishavali or some. How you say his name?
Adam nailed it. So I had it in my head. I was like, I'm just gonna say Nico. You know what's funny? During the press conference, Jahai Tucker made a point to say, you know what? I called out Xander Zayas, and I'm sorry, they called out Xander Zayas, and they sent me Nico, and I'm like, wait, Nico Ali Walsh is on this call, but I figured that's Nico. That Nico is Xander Zayas' training stablemate. They both train under Javier Centeno. I believe Tracy said that David Estrada is part of Nico's team as well. I'm kind of curious about this fight because there's certain prospects where like Top Rank just kind of gets fed up and they're like, you know what, this dude is going to get greenlit. Jahai Tucker's really struggled to make weight, which is why he's now fighting at 154. I understand he's a young man, he's growing. He probably didn't belong at welterweight, and I hate to go against any Strong Island fighter, but this could be a fight where he's walking into some. I think this is going to be the most competitive fight on the show.
Yeah, because the guy he's fighting is fought as high as 177.
Yeah, this is a big dude he's fighting. So.
Yes, it is. So, but why? I don't get mad at the kid if he can't make 147. He's a 154 pounder. Just change the.
Well, we finally got on that same page. But if his team is telling we can make this weight, then you get to the scale and you're missing by like nearly a full division. And it becomes a habit. That becomes a problem. So
Yeah, how many times did he do it?
He's missed weight at least twice. I want to say it was like 2 fights in a row.
Yeah. So. Yeah, well, it's time for him to move up.
And there was one occasion where I think he got bumped from the show altogether. So.
Yeah, stop wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I'm not saying Top Rank is there with him. I haven't really gotten that indication from, not even off the record. But, I'm just looking at this match. I'm like, well, all right, maybe it is sink or swim time for him. But these, the other Top Rank prospects have been in this situation before, and this is where, they've risen to the occasion. So this could be that moment for Jahai Tucker.
Yeah, sink or swim. The fight last week also. Yes. I cannot say his last name. Raymond
Muratalla.
How do you say it?
Muratalla.
Yeah, Muratalla. Yeah. He got a quick turnaround fight with Nakatali.
He does.
And that's on the undercard of Devin. Yeah. Hey. What you think? I think that's a good test.
He had to survive a knockdown. He came very cold out the gate. Got dropped early in his fight last weekend. Came back and very impressed. I was very impressed by the way he came back because that was a very, very rough start. Like those first 2 rounds, I'm like, oh man, where is this going? Weirdly, most fighters with Robert Garcia, it's like he's the authority in the corner. I thought there was like for the first 5 or 6 rounds, there were just way too many voices in his corner. It's like he literally had 3 people yelling at him at the same time. Now, granted, they were on the same page, but it's where you're in a high pressure fight like that. You got 3 different people. All you're hearing is 3 different voices. You're not hearing the same thing at that point. So that all just needs to funnel. Like they need to get that shit together. Like during those 3 minutes, like, okay, Robert, this is what, my son needs to hear, whatever. And then let Robert be the voice in the corner. So, but he pulled through it. He got the victory. And now, this is a very tough test he's going to be. I love it. It's the opening of a 3-fight pay-per-view on May 20th. So very, very tough test. Top Rank, they do have a lot. They're very high on Muratalla. Otherwise, I don't think they would put him in a fight like this because there's no real upside to getting him beat.
Another guy who would get knocked down a lot, but would still end up winning?
I mean, I can think of several. Go ahead.
one of your favorites.
Tito. Yep.
Yep.
Tito Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya early in his career. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you ain't on Queer Street, you good.
Like I said, to me, it's always about the reaction. His reactions are like he never really lost his head. I felt like his corner kind of did him more of a disservice than he did to himself. So the way he pulled back and just really took over that fight, I was very impressed with what I saw last week from him.
Yeah. No, right. Jake said they split about a $10 million purse, not a $4.5 million. Did you say $10 million purse?
What are you talking about?
Benavidez.
Yeah, I said there's probably going to be about $10 million in the pot for them to split.
Yeah, they didn't split it. I was looking at his tweet. I was looking at the timeline. I see he had tweeted it. What else
I gotta say this, man. I don't know April 1st. Yeah. I don't know if this is April Fool's joke or we're all really losing our blue checks. But there's a lot of blue checks in this fucking show today. I still got. I was expecting to wake up and not have it next to my name anymore, and I wouldn't have cared. Hey, if LeBron James isn't going to pay $11 for it, I'm not either. So.
Elon don't know what he's doing, man. He done messed it all up. I was a legacy Twitter blue user. Then he started making everybody. Where he raised the price, then forced everybody to get a blue check. Everybody don't want a blue check. They just want to post 10-minute video.
Yeah, exactly.
It was $3. It was $3 when it originally started. $3.
Yeah.
You couldn't beat that.
Well, I'm going to say this. So I don't care if they take it away. I was excited when I got it last year, but beyond that initial moment, I whatever. I'm definitely not paying for it. I know that. I don't think there's anyone out there who wants to pretend to be me. So.
I don't know. You got some haters.
Well, that's fine. I don't have many though. I don't think.
Dan making a new Jake in the box account.
I don't think I'm important enough yet.
All right, if y'all want to questions, start requesting and get up here. We get some of y'all questions.
Yeah. And we do have an update. So I tweeted out Marshy. Well done. I bugged the zone at least 2 or 3 times a week just on his behalf. But Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia fight will be available as part of the zone subscription in the UK and Ireland. So if you live in the US and you don't want to pay the pay-per-view, jump on a plane, get on a boat, go to the UK, get it as part of the zone subscription.
There you go, folks.
Save yourself $85. Which and that was the other thing that came out this week that pay-per-view.com released, not Showtime, but pay-per-view.com confirmed that the Tank Davis Ryan Garcia pay-per-view in the US will be $84.99 plus tax.
How much is it on Showtime.com?
They haven't announced it, but they're always the same price. It's just that pay-per-view.com is the one that confirmed the price. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
My understanding is it is free on Lefty Flicks with a donation to the cash app.
Yeah, exactly. But we do not encourage y'all to stream good fights.
Exactly. Yeah, this is a fight worth paying for.
Like the one last week.
Yeah.
Tank versus Ryan and Loma versus Devin. We got to make sure that we actually financially support
all
those
three
fights
of those
right
shows.
there.
Yeah. The only thing with Taney Loma, I don't mind a 3-fight pay-per-view. It's weird that they're leaving off Andrew Maloney and Junto Nakatani, but it's also a plus that it's actually going to be on TV. Leading up to the pay-per-view. So,
I'm glad. I'm happy them niggas ain't gonna be on my pay-per-view. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
That's gonna be a good fight, man. But no, I'm with you, man. Every pay-per-view you just mentioned, all 3 of those are worth paying. So we can bitch all we want that there are too many pay-per-views, but when they put on the ones, on good events, then we do need to support those.
J-Ro, get up here.
Oh boy.
Exactly, just do. I agree. I'm gonna happily pay my money too. Yeah, J-Ro, get up here. Cause J-Ro's still steaming. Cause you sent him to hell this week. He ain't even he on YouTube listening to it talking shit. All right, Hitman, you got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, what's going on, y'all? Happy Saturday.
What's up?
So you already know, Jake. It's a weekly Saturday question. I see my man back in training camp, looking ready. Is there any word on who he could be fighting and when his brother and Tim Tszyu could be fighting?
So my understanding I'll take the latter one. My understanding on that is going to be July. I get that if Errol is now taking over the Juneteenth date, that kind of, I don't know if that pushes back everyone or they got to get him in before then. I honestly don't know what's going on with Jamal Charlo at the moment.
I think he might be on that undercard, to be honest. I think
I
he'll
would
be the
love
co-main.
that is the best case scenario, but by his own, I don't know if he was just being coy last week. I do kind of sense that he has an understanding of what's going on next, but clearly Jamal Charlo headlining a show in Houston on Juneteenth is no longer the primary goal.
Okay.
If Errol Spence is headlining a pay-per-view event on that date, that's an upgrade.
All right, Babs, did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Just one for me. Jake, is there any commission in the US that will actually sanction Conor Benn to fight?
Well, no. Okay, I'm not going to say no. Any relevant commission will not sanction him, and that's important. When you got California, Nevada, and now the ABC all on record saying we do not, California and Nevada flat out said they're going to wait for the BBB, whatever's going on for him to get, cleared on his side of the pond. Those are the two biggest commissions in the state. Now, granted, I'm not saying he can't go to Texas, where almost anything goes and get a license there.
Tennessee,
he'll easily get one. I mean, Jarrell Miller fought out here. So, yeah. So, there are some softer commissions that maybe would consider it. But when you already have the ABC saying we're not on board with what you do, that's a pretty damning
What about that Native? What about that Native American commission in Arizona?
The Patsy tribe. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
My sense is Conor Benn is going to fight in Abu Dhabi next. Getting an opponent is obviously going to be more problematic. I never believed that Ben Eubank was going to be revisited because I mean that would be shitty. Look, I know Liam Smith doesn't have very many fans, but the guy was forced to turn down a title fight because he was told he's locked into a rematch with Chris Eubank Jr. So that plus the fact that the BBBC is already telling Eubank and Tony Sims, who trains a lot of fighters, that you're going to be in trouble too if you go take this fight. So I think that's going to be the greater issue with Conor Benn. But I fully expect him to land in Abu Dhabi for his next fight.
Is there any truth to all of this Pacquiao talk? I know it's heard being bringing up.
I know there was truth to talks. See, this is my problem too. I mean, with the whole Conor Benn situation, look, Donald McRae wrote a fantastic piece. That was an incredible, piece of investigative journalism that he wrote. My issue is that if Conor Benn is going to fight, it's not like the entire welterweight division is going to be like, well, fuck you, I'm not going to fight you, out of whatever. I'm going to take some moral high ground and sit this one out. They see that payday, they're going to go fight. So that's kind of the issue.
Jake, what's the payday if he's not fighting in the UK? He's a nobody anywhere else.
If he's fighting in Abu Dhabi, obviously that's where the most money is going to be thrown at him.
I don't think Eddie Hearn's going to risk his license.
That's why I don't believe he's going to go to Tennessee or Arizona or anywhere else in the U.S. because now he's at risk of not being able to promote in the U.S. And that fucks over guys like Bam Rodriguez and, if he wants to bring up Richard Hitchens, he's got Edgar Berlanga, who is only an attraction here. So that's a big risk on his, unless, Matchroom Boxing USA is just going to completely, fall shop. I know people want to argue that it never really got off the ground, but he does have fighters over here, that kind of depend on their ability to fight here. So I don't think he's going to risk all that just to bring Conor Benn over here, especially when Abu Dhabi's willing to have him. But getting back to Pacquiao, though, it's like I see this now. All of a sudden, all this drug testing stuff is being brought up. To me, that's only because Pacquiao's not getting the fight, which I think is the shitty side of the sport. That's the only time we get a whistleblower, is when somebody no longer financially benefits from the situation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Abu Dhabi will pay for Pacquiao. Yeah. They were willing to pay before.
And at this point, I don't know why you wouldn't just go through with that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Hitman.
All right, so Jake, we've seen that two members of the WBA ranking sanctioning bodies have moved up to number one, Deontay Wilder and Demetrius Andrade. Do we think that Wilder could be getting the Usyk fight, and do we think that Andrade versus David Morrell is a real possibility for maybe later this year?
I'm going to say I have more faith in Morrell Andrade taking place before I see Usyk Wilder. Just because I'm not fully convinced that Usyk wants to fight Deontay Wilder. I'm not saying he's scared of him, I just haven't.
No, I think he's still.
Well, maybe he is. I just haven't heard his team indicate that they're all the way on board. Now, Wilder does not.
Yeah, it's just so many moving parts with the Usyk Wilder thing. You got people that's outside of their control.
And I mentioned this last week too. No matter how high Deontay Wilder goes in the rankings, he does not jump the line ahead of Dubois. Him being number one was significant if Dubois is not medically cleared to next fight Usyk. That's the significance of that. So now, if the PBC signs off and says, you know what, these medical reports are not valid, he can't fight next, then yes, absolutely. They're in a position where they can't name Deontay Wilder the mandatory challenge. Beyond that, the ranking almost means nothing. Andrade, it kind of means something because, as we mentioned earlier, none of the sanctioning bodies are going to be in a hurry to tell Canelo who he's fighting next. So the order of the Royal Andrade fight.
You're getting a lot of wins.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to spit this whole out before I go on mute.
You sound like that tornado came through again.
It's actually very sunny here today.
Right,
so you know, Usyk lied about coming to New York when Wilder was fighting, but that's just, you know.
Well, and I'm going to keep pointing to that. Like I said, I've never heard Usyk say that he wants to fight Wilder next. I've never heard Dubois or Frank Warren or going to get the Usyk fight next. I keep hearing people like Eddie Hearn and anyone else external to these, you know, negotiations saying, "Oh yeah, that's probably the fight that's going to happen next." But nobody within that group is saying, you know, anything other than we're talking about Usyk and Dubois.
Thanks, Jake.
My pleasure.
All right. Anybody got some more questions?
Let me say this too. I'm sorry. There's also a video. Apologies, I forget who posted it, but they asked Deontay Wilder straight up, "Is Andy Ruiz a possibility?" He said it's a very strong possibility. That's straight out of his mouth.
Yeah, because Ruiz don't have anybody lined up.
No, he doesn't. Apparently, he's homeless as well. I don't mean to laugh about that. That was
La-da-dee, la-da-da, la-da-dee, la-da-da.
So
I saw that.
But that's a fight. Like I said, either one of them have options. There is absolutely no reason why they shouldn't be fighting each other next. I'm not saying Ruiz doesn't have options, but if that fight is there and they can't get another fight, just take that one next.
Yeah, just take.
Obviously, someone else.
Usyk versus Fury and Wilder versus. I mean, Usyk versus Wilder and Ruiz versus Fury.
I agree.
If we can't get, you know, we're obviously not going to get Fury versus Usyk, but those are two good fights. I saw Lennox Lewis earlier talking about, you know, the heavyweights. Why they, you know, what's the deal with this? It is a lot of complacency in the heavyweight division. Like, it's a lot of guys that can be making good fights, like from the top 4 through 10.
Yeah.
You know, well, you got Joe Joyce fighting Zhang coming off the back of fighting Parker, so he is making some separation between himself and the rest of the bottom 4 through 10, so he can work. So he can say, "I'm the man, the next up." You know what I'm saying? Which is a good thing.
That's why, like, I don't get this whole reporting. Like, I get in the UK, it's a big deal that we're not getting the undisputed champion fight because that's where the fight was going to take place. But every option that we're mentioning, I don't have a problem with any of these fights, just like you said. So I don't know. I didn't really shed a single tear about, you know, pure use.
Yeah, it's heavyweight. Always a lot of good fights to be made in heavyweight, man. Always. Let's get them moving. What was I just about to ask you about? Dang, I can't. Oh, the new signings by Matchroom, Catterall, and also our boy Sonny.
Yeah, so you know, look, a lot of people joked about how Broner and BLK Prime that ended. It was like they dated, but they never actually went on a date. Well, Jack Catterall, as I tweeted yesterday, this is now his 3rd promoter he signed with since his last fight. So obviously, it will lead to a fight. He's going to fight May 27th, according to Eddie. I don't know if it's going to be Regis Prograis. I know they were in negotiations. I do think Matchroom can help facilitate that fight. They have a relationship with Regis's manager, Sam Kukowski, who has Emma Williams.
Regis said he don't have no manager.
He's with Sam Kukowski.
Didn't he just say this week he don't have no manager?
Maybe I missed that one.
Yes, he did. He said he has nobody that can speak for him. He has no manager.
Okay. I stand
maybe they're on the outs. I don't know.
That could be.
Maybe he should sign without Matchroom.
I mean, if that's the case, then yeah.
I mean, you have Catterall, you have Hitchens,
Liam Farrell,
you have Montana Love,
Steve.
Then you can have Regis.
Clark, Liam Farrell. There's options for him in 140.
Yeah.
And you got Conor Ben.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, but what about Sunday? We gonna finally get that Martinez?
So
fight?
Martinez is supposed to be fighting on the Canelo Ryder undercard. Supposedly he's going to be fighting McWilliams Arroyo if that fight ever see, well, the rematch, I should say, ever sees the light of day. But yeah, theoretically that would be the case. Eddie was adamant about doing this whole flyweight tournament. The end of the road for that is Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez. And that's the fight that interests Bam the most. I know he said he wants to fight, Julio Cesar Martinez, but everyone, if there's a tournament that's to be had at flyweight, everyone seems to agree it ends with Bam Rodriguez and Sonny Edwards fighting for whatever, the undisputed championship, the lineal championship.
What about Sonny versus Charlie?
Yeah, I saw Charlie's big call, and I don't think Sonny is going to be sweating out that way. I will say, if there was a brother tandem that would actually fight in the pros, it would be them.
Yeah, they would.
And I don't care what way it takes place. Sonny, absolutely, all due respect to the Edwards family, but yeah, I don't see Sonny having any issues in that one.
We got to see that Martinez fight. I want to see that before the Bam fight.
Sonny, yeah. So there's obviously, the built-in storyline where even though Martinez didn't get the official win against Charlie Edwards, for all intent and purposes, he did knock him out. So, and he did do enough to where Charlie Edwards was never interested in revisiting that fight. But I do think Sonny Edwards would have far more success against Julio Cesar Martinez. That is, to me, that's a great boxer versus puncher matchup. There's a very distinct possibility that Sonny clowns him in that fight, but it's still a fight that we need to see.
L does say PBC are top ranked better for Regis, but Regis, man, is just anything is better at this point.
So wait for him to sign with Don King next.
All right, we got any more questions?
Look at all these blue checks this morning.
I know a lot of people pay for Twitter. Sad to see.
I'm asking YouTube people now if they got any questions.
Oh, here we go. Lefty trying to integrate
You got a
YouTube
question
again.
for YouTube. Jake, are you a storm chaser? You sound like you're in a tornado.
No, I'm actually just stuck in a tree line. I know, I'm trying to walk as fast as I can until the next question. But yeah.
Oh, here's one from Aisha. Has the Davis Garcia undercard been filled out?
No, actually, as of 2 days ago, there was concerns that they still haven't finalized any of those fights yet.
You said as of 2 days ago, there was concerns.
They were still concerned, like they couldn't believe that they're this close to the date, and there's still no firm updates on the undercards.
Who's they? Who can't believe it?
People I talked to that would know about what fights are going to be on the undercard. So
we supposed to get what's that heavyweight fight they announced? The Gurdon
I'm
guy
going
versus...
to write a story. I was going to DM Matt and let him know that I had some tragically bad news, but
no. Come on.
I was told that Big Gug is injured and the fight will not be
Oh, no.
I don't know what the injury is yet, though, so that's why I've not written a story on it.
Oh, my
I'm sorry,
God.
Matt. I know. Big, beefy heavyweight.
That could have been the co-feature.
Yeah. I think more concerning is the payday that Charles Morton loses if he does not get a fight on that card.
You also have Morrell versus Ukas.
I don't believe that's going to happen. I was told by a very reliable source I'm going to follow up. My friend from Nashville, Mr. Sina Agbeko, is supposed to be getting that fight. I need to confirm that.
All right, go ahead, Marsh.
How you doing? How you doing, Lefty? You all right, Matt?
Hey, Matt.
Doing well.
I just wanted to ask if there'd been any more update on Hitchins and Ergashev.
No, I asked the IBF literally every day this week for an update. I actually contacted someone else who would have been next in line. I believe it's stuck on Hitchins for whatever reason. I don't know why it hasn't moved past that, but the guy below him, I actually asked his manager. He confirmed as of 15 minutes ago that the IBF has not yet contacted him. I do know that guy, I forget his name, Bastian something, but he is supposed to be fighting Ivan Mendy, ironically, in an IBF sanctioned fight next. But he would, if there's the opportunity to fast forward to an eliminator, I'd have to imagine they would take it. But they haven't received the letter yet, which tells me it's still with Hitchins. I know there was kind of an internal rift with Hitchins. I don't want to get too much into it because I was told a lot of information and confidence, but there are several members of the team who are interested in taking that fight. Hitchens is not alone in this, but I said this last week. A lot of fighters do not like, having to, that rehydration clause, especially if it's not a title. I think that's why a lot of guys will even sidestep an IBF title fight altogether. They just don't want to handicap themselves at that second day weigh-in. But it sounds like Hitchens has not yet turned down has not yet declined the invitation.
All right, cheers, mate.
Yep, thank you. And Wash, congratulations.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks.
Yes, you worked hard on that one, man.
Yeah, fine.
All right, I have a question from YouTube from Randy. This might be Broadway Joel's burner. It said, "When is Edwin De Los Santos fighting next?" Edwin De Los Santos.
I've not heard any firm updates. So I hear people who don't want to fight him.
Yeah, because who cares about him? Come on, man.
I really hate to agree with you in that sense, but he's not a subscription driver by any means. He's a guy who had a great win. Kind of messed up, that he's being punished for winning a fight he wasn't expected to win. But this is where we are.
Well, next time he'll know. Do the job. Might get another fight.
Until you fall in the second, you fall down.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to see him fight again. Frank Martin. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Frank Martin. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Pitbull Cruz. Get some movement in the bottom half of the division.
Pitbull Cruz De Los Santos was supposed to headline a Showtime card. And there's only one reason why we're not getting that fight next, and it's not De Los Santos.
So it's Pitbull.
Well, Pitbull's people, I should say. Yeah.
He ain't no real Pitbull. The real Pitbulls I know are killers. We're going to call him Chihuahua Bull.
Yes.
Chihuahua Cruz.
Frank Martin should have a fight coming up. I don't know if it's going to land on the tank card I've asked two people who are familiar with placing fights on that card. One said it's a possibility, and the other said absolutely not. So.
Can I ask you a question about Virgil, Jake?
We already spoke about him, man.
I don't think I spoke about what I want to talk about. Because, I had my conspiracy theory last week. Remember, I asked you about these, the credentials, because I felt ticket sales were moving slow. And I was wondering if this event was going to come off. And then surely the same week, the event is canceled. Are we 110% sure that the only reason this fight was canceled was because Virgil has rhabdo, allegedly, again?
Okay, if you are asking me what I think you are asking me, the one thing I can confirm is that he has not missed a single drug test.
No, I don't care about drug testing.
Okay,
I'm talking
sure
about
that wasn't what you were saying.
No. From what I was hearing, the tickets weren't moving that well. It started off hot, and then it just fell off, and that they were not going to be able to pack that arena out. So I was hearing that maybe they really canceled the fight due to low ticket sales.
I can say this. I spoke to 3 people at Golden Boy. I'm not going to mention names. All 3 of them equated the fallout to being kicked in the balls. So this was definitely not their decision to intentionally cancel this fight.
There's only 3 people left at Golden Boy. We know who you spoke to.
Well, there you go. That's my point being that nobody at Golden Boy was happy with this fight not happening April 29th.
Okay, what about but we already know what his fight in Dickey's Arena didn't sell that well.
He's not the big draw in Dallas that they make him out to be. He's
ticket issue.
He's got a following. He's not a draw out there by any stretch. Weirdly, his fight with Hooker, I mean, obviously it's an all Dallas matchup, but his fight with Hooker during COVID restrictions did better than any other fight he's had out there since then.
Yeah.
That's because the fans probably thought he was messing with Hooker.
And when I was told, when I had got the news, that's exactly what the person told me. It was a training issue, nothing about ticket sale.
Yeah, the biggest complaint I got, and look, I've gotten conflicting information on that. Maybe it's people with an axe to grind. They all claim that he's overtrained. But the indication I got is that any issues that he's had in the past in that regard were well applied into this camp, and that this just came about.
Well, I heard I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna be quiet. What you got, Jake? Well, somebody made a good point. When he was with Joel Diaz, he was at 140 easily.
That yeah. I mean I don't know.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody got anything else? Or have y'all decided to DM the boxers y'all be asking about?
Who you got in the main event for WrestleMania, Jake? Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns?
I just have to defer to you on that one, Matt.
You're not gonna watch WrestleMania?
No, I am. I'm immature, but I am grown up.
No, he's a grown man. He's not watching this.
I have not watched wrestling since I was little kid.
Oh wow, that was back with Bruno Sammartino.
Not only are they watching WrestleMania, they betting.
Yes, we are, and not only that, we're gonna host a WrestleMania space later tonight. I'm gonna have a WrestleMania preview. We're gonna go over the Hall of Fame. Is this the worst WWE Hall of Fame class ever? And then we're gonna have a WrestleMania post show, night 1 and night 2.
You know, I was going to say, I've seen that come up on the timeline that people complaining about the WrestleMania class, but I believe that was you.
Yes, it was because Rey Mysterio headlining your class. Listen, if you got Rey Mysterio headlining your class, that's like having Edwin De Los Santos headline a card and you expected the card to be good. Just look at the main event and that'll tell you all you need to know about the card.
Hey man, but the CEO of WWE said boxing is dead. So.
Did he really say that? I didn't get to see that interview. I saw everybody talking about it, and the usual suspects, Raging Babe, Lou DiBella, the usual losers were agreeing. So I figured he said something stupid. Oh, no offense. Oh, I forgot Jake was here. Sorry, Jake. My bad. My bad, Jake.
If you cut out the first
Yeah,
name of that, I can maybe co-sign on the rest.
Hey man, like I said, you know everybody shit on boxing. People in boxing love to come and help pile on this shit. Like one of his points was when boxing went behind the paywall with HBO, it lost its luster. Okay, but when it went behind the paywall, HBO, we got Tyson, we got De La Hoya, we got Floyd. Like, so I mean, what stars has the UFC made not behind the paywall? That's reached that level. None. Right?
It seems like when they're not one of the players making money in it anymore, that's when boxing's dead. Boxing's dead for them. It's not dead for everybody else.
Yeah. UFC ain't got nowhere near the stars that boxing has produced behind premium cable paywall.
Him and them whack ass Broadway boxing cards.
Who was all the UFC stars that I'm missing that I could pick out of a lineup? Connor and who else?
Conor don't ever fight no more.
John Jones.
That's about it.
Like, motherfucker, you put a picture of Roy Jones and a picture of Mike Trout next to each other. Motherfuckers ain't gonna know who Mike Trout is. And he's supposedly the greatest baseball player of all time. So,
ironically, Roy Jones kind of pitched the same argument this week.
Well, that's sad.
Which I thought was weird because he's kind of the poster child for risk-averse fighters of the past 20, 25 years.
Ooh, can you expound on
That's
that,
sad
Jake? Because
look, Prime Roy is one of my all-time favorite fighters. But from Tony all the way to John Ruiz, I mean, he fought some names, but he left way, way too many fights. So I get it that guys want ridiculous money, but when you're on the A side, it's your responsibility to make those fights happen. Roy left a lot of fights on the table in his prime.
What did they used to call Roy on HBO back then?
Reluctant Roy.
damn, Roy.
People be having a lot of revisionist history about these fighters that they like. But I remember.
Okay, Pepper Farm.
And he's saying all this while participating in a gimmick pay-per-view tonight. So, I mean, good. Look, there's a message to be. I'm fine with listening to the message, not so the messenger. But.
I remember the Roy Jones hate that they used to get. Now, all of a sudden, everybody loves him.
Jake, about Roy Jones pay-per-view tonight.
Wait, hold on, wait. But you, when he says the things he say, you understand why suddenly everybody loves him. Suddenly, everybody loves him. If you get you a platform where you can shit on boxing, these motherfuckers will love the hell out of you.
Yep.
For some strange reason.
So, Jake, regarding Roy's fight tonight, is there a chance that, in the words of Fat Joe, Roy Jones will be forced to lean back?
I don't know. Look. I've never seen Anthony Pettis. I don't know. I can't speak intelligently to what he can do in a boxing ring.
Oh man.
I couldn't care less. I'm sorry that I brought up that card. I kept seeing the date and I was like, this has to be an April Fool's, but whatever. Look, Luis Feliciano is making his way back to the ring. That's the one thing I'm happy about with that show. He's on the card.
Who's that?
And the
Luis
funny part
Feliciano.
about it, that these people be catering to people that don't even support the sport financially. They then wonder why they can't make no money off the shit.
Right.
Bro, ain't nobody buying that pay-per-view.
Well, that's why I said I was 30 minutes ago that the only time we hear people talk about the sport is when they can only, they're no longer in a position to financially benefit from it. Yeah. So everyone's gonna have a problem Conor Ben's fight if they're not fighting Conor Ben.
Yeah. You preach it to people that stream fights, that don't go to fights, right? But you expect them to financially support your platform about boxing, bro. That's why you gotta retire, because nobody's supporting you. Because you are preaching to a crowd that don't. I don't know, man. The shit seems ass backwards to me. Anyway, that's why I always big up the sport. Always keep a positive outlook on it, and always fuck with people that go to fights, buy pay-per-views and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
So
not the broke boys. They don't do nothing but complain.
So Jake, what's the rumor that you're chasing down right now?
Hold up, wait, hold up. I'm not finished. I got.
Oh God, here we go. Okay.
Like the people complaining with the chat, they sit up there and tell you, this isn't worth this pay-per-view, isn't worth this pay-per-view. You got LeBron James, a multi-billionaire, who would spend $500,000 on the car, but don't see the value of buying a check mark on Twitter, even though he can afford it. It's not about what something's worth to you; it's about what it's worth to someone else.
So why'd you buy a check mark on Twitter? I don't have you had. Listen, I know you subscribe to Twitter
Blue. I
Blue.
never had a check mark on Twitter. I had Twitter Blue before they instituted the check mark when it was $2.99. Because I wanted to post 10-minute videos. When they raised it to $11.99, I said, well, I don't think that's worth it, the 10-minute video.
Okay.
That's what you see what I'm saying? Yeah, I can afford the $11.99, but I don't think it's worth that to me. Not saying it's not worth it to other people, which is okay if it's worth it to other people, but you cannot tell somebody else what's worth something to them. That's the whole point I'm trying to get people to understand. You cannot tell another person what's worth something to them. I know a guy that buy fucking $20,000 watches, but he don't think the $11.99 YouTube Premium is worth it to him.
You talking about Cal with his whack watch?
No.
Oh.
You can't tell another person what's worth something to them. It's the fucking what do you call it? The arrogance. The arrogance to sit on high and tell somebody else what's worth something to them. It's amazing just watching this shit, man. And then you got the idiots agreeing with you. You like.
Wait, Lefty, since when you started doing voice impressions? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that, Lefty?
I said it last week, man. He's trying to cut into that two-tone.
Yeah, for real.
Oh. And then they try to act like these are altruistic people.
Altruistic, no, Lefty. Altruistic.
Everything that these people do, they're doing from a cost-benefit analysis. Okay, these motherfuckers are not giving you a cut of a pay-per-view price because they're great people. They run the numbers, did the cost-benefit analysis, and came up with a fucking price. Dumb.
So you're telling me that Haney versus Lomachenko is $75, not because Bob is not $75 because Bob loves us and wants to save money? Are you kidding me?
Exactly. These people think these motherfuckers are nonprofits in it for the goodness of their heart and to do people favors.
Now, can we hear about whatever rumors Jake is chasing down?
I can expand some more, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
90% of my audience.
We want to hear what Jake's working on.
Oh well, you were going to ask me a question before. I don't know if it's serious or not, but I want to hear.
Yeah, I was going to ask. You have any rumors that you're chasing down? Any little nuggets that you can share with the public?
No, I mean we kind of covered all that in the beginning, so I don't know what else there is to share. If you ask me something more specific, I can verify.
Okay. How well do you know UK boxing?
How well do I know it? No, I'm not the connoisseur that you are.
Oh, so you wouldn't know about a certain Muslim fighter leaving Frank Warren to go to Matchroom?
I don't think that he would know. I think he just wouldn't care.
Right. I left. Yeah, that was brought up. I saw it on BreakingNewsBoxing.com.
No, you didn't. You saw it on Chicken Talk YouTube. That's not breakingNewsBoxing.com worthy content.
I thought you were sharing. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Okay.
I did hear those rumors. Yes, to answer your question. Eddie's obviously making some moves. I'm not saying big moves, but he is making some moves. So.
Well, this is a big move. For those who don't know, he is a very good ticket seller.
Yes, this is a big move to reclaim the UK market that he ceded to Frank Warren when he took on his global domination.
How ticked off is Frank Warren at Tyson Fury? Because if you think about it, it seemed like Frank Warren had control of the heavyweight division. And now with them trying to rush Dubois back from an ACL injury so he could still have Usyk in his hands, it's not going to work. That's why he's talking about the Tyson Fury fight again. I feel like Tyson Fury bullshit and kind of made Frank lose the powerful hand that he had.
Well, not as powerful when the guy doesn't want to fight other guys. You know, you gotta actually want to fight to be powerful, to dominate the division, to dominate the heavyweight division.
Well, I'm thankful for Tyson Fury.
You say you what?
I'm thankful for Tyson Fury.
Why? Because you want to see Wilder?
Yes. Thank you, Tyson Fury. Yes.
That's my dream fight also, but we'll see.
Any chance AJ loses to Sag Nasty's own Jermaine Franklin today?
I'd probably say it's like a 95-5 fight. No.
Even with AJ being like 300 pounds?
To me, that, like I said, the only concern is that if we see any fatigue issues, like if the fight goes past 8 rounds. I'm not saying an upset can't happen, but
the over/under is 7.5 on this fight. 7.5.
I'm taking the over.
I personally think it's going to end right around there. We could see like a 129, 131 stoppage.
Ryan from Ohio, if you're listening, can you email FanDuel again and tell them to add that?
Yeah, it's still not on the damn. It's still not on the. I don't understand what's going on here. But they got bum ass Robeson Ramirez on FanDuel. Come on, man, this is crazy.
Yeah,
I did find this whole fight week odd. That Jermaine Franklin filed a lawsuit against Dimitri Salita, who has been, I guess, for all intents and purposes, doing his job as a promoter this week. So,
man, motherfuckers start seeing a little bit of change. They don't want to share that shit.
Or maybe he's stuck in a bad contract.
He just signed the contract.
Oh.
And if you want to see the contract in itself, you can go to RJ Wolf's page, and he printed the whole contract.
Is it a good contract?
He posted the whole contract. It's a standard boxing contract. It's a good contract for a motherfucker that wasn't doing shit before he got the white fight.
Okay.
He signed the contract, then got the white fight, then got the AJ fight.
I'm just saying, Dimitri Salita. I'm not gonna say the race. I'm not gonna say it.
Well, look, it wasn't nobody else stepping in for White, stepping in for Franklin, getting him a white fight. Right, he signed the contract. Looks like a standard promotional contract. It doesn't look like anything fishy in it. It's just he's seeing some money. He don't want to share that shit now.
Wow.
Like I said, you go to RJ Wolf page and read the contract. It doesn't look outrageous or anything like that. It looks like a standard boxing contract. What's up, Joe? You got a question?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Franco Ioka in a while. Has there been any news on that?
It's still targeted for June. I have not been given a firm date or even a firm location. But still in the mix for June. I'm going to find out. I'm going to speak to Joshua myself on Thursday. I will get my update straight from the horse's mouth.
All right, thanks.
Yes, sir.
I guarantee if you DM Robert Garcia, you could beat Jake to the punch.
I'm going to say this on the Jermaine Franklin thing. My whole thing is his concern was he doesn't know the percentages that Dimitri's taking, that he's at liberty to take what he feels.
Oh, come on. That's not standard.
That is not standard at all. That's the whole crux of the lawsuit. I will say this, though. Whoever posted that lawsuit, for someone like me who is a good graphic designer but not great,
Jake, we can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
We can't hear you.
I think Jake dropped off.
I didn't drop off. I was just way too windy where I was.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this: for someone who is pretty technologically savvy, make sure you scan that shit before you post it, because even when you redact it, it is very easy to remove those redactions.
Wait.
So there's a lot of personal information that is in that lawsuit that can easily be discovered.
Ooh, like what? Any social security numbers?
Wait, hold on.
Like where it lives, what his number is. There's a lot of personal information.
Let's get some credit cards, baby.
No. I'm not.
Hold on, wait. Can you see the financial information?
I can go in there and remove all the redactions.
How do you do that, Jake? I'm curious.
Hold on, wait. Hold on, wait. Because I know RJ posted and I asked him about the redactions when he posted it. He said his only redactions were the addresses.
Yes.
The other redactions were.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of personal shit in there that if you can get past those redactions, you have full access to them. So if you're filing a lawsuit, scan it before you post it.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying. Because if I was that type of piece of shit, I can tell you where Jermaine Franklin was.
Could we get credit cards
I'm
in his
not that type of
name? That's what I want to know.
No.
Because I look like a Jermaine.
But he also has some bankruptcy lawsuits going too, so I don't even know if he can get a credit card in his name.
Oh man, those Michiganders.
Yeah, Jermaine Franklin is definitely going to Fresno Kendall these days.
Yeah, that's it.
Need a lawyer for a lawsuit.
Well, anyway.
Anything on the anyway card, or is it the whole card moving, or just the main event?
I don't know if any undercard fights were announced for that show, so the whole show is canceled. Like
even if they did announce undercard, you ain't gonna know who was on it.
Some Japanese people.
Well, his stablemate was supposed to be on. The guy who I thought was going to fight Ergashev next, who was not going to fight him. So he will be.
Yeah, not Nakashami.
Not Nakashami. Andy
I just made that name up.
I know you did that. I'm trying to just brush past the celebration.
I don't know Nakashami's a real name, to be honest with you.
Nakatani is a real
Nakashami.
That's probably a real name too.
Exactly. Do you have any opinion on the NCAA tournament, Jake?
No.
Do you watch anything but boxing? God damn, Jake.
No,
he watched baseball.
Get a life, Jake.
I watched it. My wife.
He done put that damn baseball shit on my timeline so many times.
My wife participated in an office pool. I could not even tell you a team that is in the final.
Wow.
I know San Diego State is.
Bro, ain't nobody about to sit. Man, I thought you said you like watching. Well, this could be true for you, but you said you like watching boxers who could beat you.
Yeah.
Okay, you like watching women's basketball.
I don't watch
women's
basketball. This is the men's tournament. UConn.
They could probably beat you.
Hell no.
I was thinking about myself.
Hell nah. Man, listen, I'm not afraid to elbow a woman to the stomach. Okay.
You'll get cooked. Nah, for playground came out retirement.
One thing I did want to bring up, a friend of the Chicken Talk community, Adrian Clark, he has a big feature out. It's called Protect Yourself at All Times. It just came out Thursday. It premiered, so definitely go check it out.
We can't hear words.
Somebody named Andrea Clark.
Adrian Clark, a friend of the Chicken Talk family.
Adrian Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, a project he's been working on for a very long time. Protect Yourself at All Times. It is now out. It premiered Thursday. Definitely go check it out. It's all about surviving the business of boxing.
Speaking of projects coming out, any word on the Demetrius Andrade movie that he DM'd everybody about? And also, have you seen the George Foreman movie yet?
I think it comes out at the end of this.
Oh, you don't get like a screener or nothing?
There are some. I hated it that I had to turn it down. I had the opportunity to do that with Adrian's project. If I get invited, I might go watch it.
Okay. Just make sure you have a +1. I want to go. Thanks.
Yes.
I like George Foreman.
I will fly you into.
I love the heavyweights.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Looks like that's about it. Any questions? Y'all better get up here now before I end it. I want to say, inshallah to all my Muslim brothers out there
you.
who are fasting.
Thank you.
The real ones, man.
Yeah, the real one, man. I'm talking about the real
Yeah,
Muslims,
like me and Stephen Fulton.
like Saqib.
You think Saqib could do 8 rounds with fasting, or can he run with fasting? Lefty, can you put in public your conspiracy theory about these Muslim boxers, Lefty, please?
I already did the other day. I did on my
No,
last
I
thing.
want
It's not a
I
conspiracy
want this
theory.
one recorded. Can you put that out there one more time?
Okay, I just don't think that it's possible to run 8 miles and spar 8, 9, 10 rounds without drinking water. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory.
So what you're saying is
Anybody
that
don't
these
agree?
Muslims
If
are
you don't
not really
agree,
fasting.
if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with
Lefty,
science.
are you saying that these Muslims boxers are not really fasting?
I'm saying that when you sweat, you need to replenish your body before it
Okay.
shuts down. You end up like Virgil Ortiz with rhamnodosis. Okay.
With Ramadanosis.
If y'all want to believe that, that's on y'all. But I know when you sweat, you got to drink
So
water.
Lefty, simple yes or no. Do you believe that these Muslim boxers are not really fasting?
Do I believe
Do you believe that these Muslim boxers are not really fasting?
If they're training, I don't believe that they're not drinking water. That's what.
So they're not fasting.
Well, if that's what y'all consider fasting,
Okay.
I guess. I mean, it ain't shit. I don't think that's a controversial opinion. That's a common sense opinion.
Okay.
Oh, fuck it. You let me put you, since you fasting. Go run around the block one time if you can make that and see if you gonna drink some
I
water.
couldn't do that when I wasn't fasting.
Yeah, I know you can't. Come on, man.
I might fall.
Anyway,
so all the Muslims out there, you heard it from the infidel himself. I'm declaring jihad against Lefty. Okay, we gotta get rid of him.
Whatever. It was just, listen, it was a conversation that we were having that came up. I'm like, bro, come on. I didn't believe Elijah was doing that shit without water either. I just don't believe this shit. I'm sorry. It's just fucking common sense. When your body produces sweat, you need to replenish it, or you're gonna end up falling out somewhere. Damn, they're dying.
So you don't think Stephen Fulton did 8 rounds?
Bro, I don't think anybody is out there capable of running 8 miles, going to the gym, jump a rope, hitting a heavy bag, and doing 8 rounds without drinking water, man. Come on. I mean, it's all a good story, but come on, man. We got to be serious about this.
Okay. All right, Lefty.
I don't care if you're the most in shape motherfucker out there. It's just not possible. I'm sorry. Just I don't even believe you. I don't even believe you. You not drinking water.
I'm not.
I don't believe you not fasting. I don't even believe that you not eating.
I'm not.
I don't believe that you get up early enough in the morning to eat breakfast.
I don't. I eat sundown. That's it, and then I don't eat the rest of the day.
This nigga been.
Come on, Lefty. Why would you say that?
Because I know you, Matt, and I know your ass is eating.
I'm not, man. Watch. When you see me next time and you see all the pounds that dropped off, you're gonna be like, wow, this guy was really real about his.
No, I'm gonna say, damn, this nigga smoking crack. When I see people lose rapid weight loss, my first mind go to crack.
Oh, you're not me. I think they got some sort of
crack
disease. Exactly. I'm like, they got some sort of disease. Like, why your face pushed in?
You start biting that bottom lip. All right, man, we way off. Matt got me off subject. So I guess that's about it. Jake, you got anything? Or Matt, you got anything?
I did not have any part in that for anyone who listens back to the show.
Yes, this was pure.
Look, I take that. Look, I don't follow that, but I grew up with a lot of Muslims, a lot of 5%ers. I take that very seriously.
They wasn't training.
You grew up doing the knowledge, Jake?
Yes, I did. During the real hip hop. So let me say,
Jake, what's the math for today?
It is also possible to curb your training habits during Ramadan.
It's also possible what?
To curb your training habits.
Right, to train at a point where, yes, when you're thirsty, you can drink water during Ramadan.
Jake, what's the math for today?
I didn't say I had that.
Did you see What's my man name from Onyx?
Oh, Fred your star. Do the knowledge,
said
B.
Michael- Do the knowledge. Since it was Jordan slander, I agree 100% with it.
Oh man, I can't wait to eat later.
Okay. All right. Matter of fact, I'm about to eat right now.
Congratulations.
So go start yourself. All right, y'all. We out.
All right.